Move to US-Europe relations, where President Donald Trump has agreed to delay a 50% tariff on EU imports until July the 9th. The decision comes after a call from European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, who asked for more time to reach a trade deal. The tariff threat, originally set for June the 1st, had shaken global markets and sparked fresh tensions between Washington and Brussels. Trump had earlier said he wasn't interested in a deal, insisting the 50% tariff would stand. But after Sunday's call, Trump backed off, saying he and von der Leyen had a very nice conversation and that talks would now move swiftly. The euro and US dollar rose against safe haven currencies like the yen and Swiss franc after the extension was announced. Trump's trade policies have long challenged allies, and while deals have been made with China and the UK, ties with the EU remain strained, with just weeks left to avoid a major escalation. We're now joined by Professor Madhav Nalapat, Editorial Director of the Sunday Guardian. Thank you very much, Professor Nalapat, for joining us on the programme. We're once again seeing a tit-tat decision-making from Donald Trump, one positive conversation with the European Commission chief, and he's changed his mind again. Can I get your thoughts, please?
Well, I'd like to say that Trump is flip-flopping all over the place, and unfortunately, he is destroying his goodwill in the United States apart from other countries. There are a lot of internet messages around that Trump's close friends and relatives are basically playing the stock market, and he makes a statement, he makes some extreme demands and he suggests some extreme policies, then that has an effect on stock prices, and then he reverses course, and then the stock prices rebound. And I don't believe it is true. I don't think President Trump would indulge in that kind of corrupt activity. But the reality is that the widespread feeling that he and his friends are indulging in speculation on shares. Obviously, shares will come down when tensions go up. And when tensions come down, shares go back up. So they basically buy when shares are low, and then, they sell when shares are high. So they're manipulating the market. So this kind of thing is going on. This tariff war makes no sense because it doesn't differentiate a friend from a foe. The European Union has been a close ally of the United States for a long time, and that will continue. Now, of course, it's joined by new allies in the Indo-Pacific, in Asia, notably, for example, India. But I want to say that it is harming President Trump a lot, and he better be careful, because 2026 midterms are just 2 years away, and if he loses badly in that, he becomes a lame duck for the remaining 2 years of his term, and he won't be able to implement any of the wonderful ideas. Some of them are not so good, many of them are excellent, though any of the wonderful ideas he's got. So I think he's playing a very dangerous game.
Professor Nalapat, this pause or delay has come after a singular conversation with EU Commissioner Ursula von der Leyen. That's affecting 27 countries in the European Union. Do you think Donald Trump's value of back-channel diplomacy is too much?
Look, I don't know about back-channel or front-channel or whatever, but the reality of the situation is that this kind of sudden raise in tariff is having a terrible impact on public opinion in these countries. India, the 76% of the population had a favorable view of President Trump. Today, that figure has gone down to very low and abysmal figures because the people in India are shocked at his gyrations, especially he's equating a terror state, which is what Pakistan has become, with India. That really shocked the people of India. How can you equate a state that has been sponsoring terrorism and breeding terrorist outfits, where designated terrorists are staying, and with the largest democracy in the world, which is a key country where the United States needs to work together, and fortunately is still working together. So I want to say very frankly, I think the world has had enough of these tantrums, and the American public have had enough of the effect of these tantrums. And if he does these tariffs, prices will shoot up in the United States, and the streets will be full of people protesting. So honestly, I think the real Donald Trump better stand up. I think the old Donald Trump, the real Donald Trump, needs to assert himself once more. And this Donald Trump, I mean, whimsical and frankly doing all kinds of things, such as not differentiating friends from like the European Union or India from a foe, which is China. I want to say that this is very self-defeating, both for himself as well as his country, as well as for much of the rest of the world.
Professor Madhav Nalapat, thank you very much for joining us on the programme. We now move over to Southeast Asia, where the biggest leader